ॐ वक्रतुण्डमहाकाय सूर्यकोटिसमप्रभ निर्विघ्नं कुरु मे देव सर्वकार्येषु सर्वदा। सरस्वति नमस्तुभ्यं वरदे कामरूपिणी विद्यारम्भं करिष्यामि सिद्धिर्भवतु मे सदा। गुरवे सर्वलोकानां विषये भवरोगिणां निधये सर्वविद्यानां दक्षिणामूर्तये नमः। ईश्वरो गुरुरात्मेति मूर्तिभेदविभागिने व्योमवद्व्याप्तदेहाय दक्षिणामूर्तये नमः। श्रुतिस्मृतिपुराणानामालयं करुणालयं नमामि भगवत्पादं शङ्करं लोकशङ्करम्। सदाशिवसमारम्भां शङ्कराचार्यमध्यमाम् अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्तां वन्दे गुरुपरम्पराम्। साक्षात्कृतं दयानन्दं परमार्थस्वरूपिणं तत्त्वज्ञानप्रशास्तारं प्रणतोऽस्मि परं पदम्। ॐ सहना भवतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यं करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। ॐ शान्तिः शान्तिः शान्तिः। ॐ पार्थाय प्रतिबोधितां भगवता नारायणेन स्वयं व्यासेन ग्रथितां पुराणमुनिना मध्ये महाभारतम् अद्वैतामृतवर्षिणीं भगवतीम् अष्टादशाध्यायिनीम् अम्ब त्वामनुसन्दधामि भगवद्गीते भवद्वेषिणीम्। मूकं करोति वाचालं पङ्गुं लङ्घयते गिरिम् यत्कृपात्तमहं वन्दे परमानन्दमाधवम्। नारायणं नमस्कृत्य नरं चैव नरोत्तमम् देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयमुदीरयेत्। ॐ श्री परमात्मने नमः।
ॐ श्री परमात्मने
परमात्मने
नमः।
नमः।
अथ चतुर्दशोऽध्यायः।
अथ
अथ
चतुर्दशोऽध्यायः।
चतुर्दशोऽध्यायः।
त्रयोदशोऽध्यायः समाप्तः। क्षेत्रक्षेत्रज्ञविभागयोगो नाम त्रयोदशोऽध्यायः is concluded. The Vishaya of the previous chapter is Jnanam Vibhaga Jnanam Kshetra Kshetrajna Vibhaga Jnanam. Knowing distinctly the Kshetra and Kshetrajna. It's a Viveka. Kshetrajna is distinct from Kshetra. So Vibhaga Jnanam, Viveka Jnanam, Kshetra Kshetrajna Vibhaga Yogaha, that is the topic. In fact, that is the topic going to be discussed in this section, in this chapter also, the following chapter also. The Kshetra, which is called Prakriti, we saw the idam shariram kaunteya kshetram iti abhidiyate. Bhagavan has told this shariram is kshetra. This jagat is kshetra. Shariram, from the standpoint of the individual, this shariram, idam shariram, kshetra. Kshetra, kshetrajna, the word they are used from the standpoint of the vyashti upadhi. Samashti upadhi, we use prakriti and purusha. What is prakriti and the samashti is kshetra at the vyashti level. What is purusha at the samashti is kshetrajna at the vyashti level. Vyashti meaning individual. We know vyashti samashti. So kshetra kshetrajna vibhaga, prakriti purusha vibhaga. Prakriti purusha vibhaga, purusha prakriti vibhaga, when we say, does it mean it is a duality? For Sankhya Darshana, it is duality. Prakriti and Purusha both are two different entities. And we know Prakriti is Mithya, it is Maya, it is Brahmashaya, it is Ishvaradina. Therefore, it is not self-existing. It has its existence on Purusha. Virat Purusha is the total. So, therefore, it is, since the Sankhya, it is Dvaita Darshana, and Advaita is, in Vedanta, Advaita is, it is Advaita Darshana, it is Advayam, therefore Prakriti is not independent of Purusha. Prakriti is not independent of Purusha, therefore, but Prakriti, the word we can use only in the Vyavaharika. So Prakriti doesn't mean it doesn't exist, it enjoys Vyavaharika Satyam. From the Paramarthika Drishtya, it is only Purusha, it is Ishvaraha, Brahma Eva. That is why Brahma Satyam, this Jagat, this Prakriti, Trigunatvika Pratihi, the Brahmashaya Prakriti, Maya is Mithya iti. So Maya, when we say Mithya, we are talking about the empiricality. The empiricality we are not negating. The Vyavaharika Satyatvam we are not negating. It is from the Paramarthika Drishtya, it is Ishvara alone. That is why Advaitam, Advayam iti. So when we say Maya, there is no negation. It is negation. In fact, there is no negation from the standpoint of the absolute. It is Ishvara alone, Brahma alone. There is no Prakriti at all. It doesn't exist. It's not non-existing. It is only Purusha alone. The Vyavakarika, it is existent, but it is not self-existing. In all the avastha, whether it is Prativasika or Vyavaharika or Paramarthika, the only which is self-evident, self-existing is Atma, Brahma Eva. That is Satyam. But in the Vyavaharika, the Jiva, we see Jiva suffers. Jiva lives in this world and thinks himself to be confined by this Sharira Manasangata, therefore experiences samsara, dukkha, therefore only moksha is moksha, therefore he seeks moksha, freedom. But unless we have the knowledge of Kshetra and Kshetrajna and clear distinction, then moksha from what? What is moksha? That cannot be clearly understood. Therefore, only in the previous chapter, Vibhaga is done. Okay, then that Prakriti, which is Kshetram, which is three gunas, Sattva, Rajas, Tamo, Gunatmika, Prakriti, Maya, doesn't enjoy existence of its own. With Purusha, it enjoys existence. That Prakriti, that Brahma with that Prakriti is Saguna, and Brahma alone, that Purusha alone as Kshetra, again it is Nirgunam. So this kshetra kshetrajna vivaha, purusha prakriti vivaha, saguna nirguna, that distinction, that viveka is required. Why? Because Brahma, which is nirgunam, it is gunatitam, then gunas, other gunas bind the jiva. Sattva, rajas, tamas. Tamas, in the order, if you say tamas, most binding, rajas binding, and sattva, that is also equally binding, less binding, but it is binding. All the three. So one has to transcend these three guna, transcend the three guna and being gunatita and not becoming gunatita as long as one is, but in terms of understanding, knowledge, gunatita, the Brahma which is gunatita. So anyway, that Atma which is Chaitanyam, that is gunatita only. It doesn't have any gunas. The Kshetra only has gunas. The Sattva guna, when we say it is of the mind, not for the Atma. Atma and Atma, what gunas are there? It is gunatita. So to know Atma, the mind has to be made relatively pure Sattva. But Sattva is as binding as the other gunas, Rajas and Tamas. One cannot shift from Tamas to Sattva directly. Therefore, there is a gradual elevation. Tamas, Tamoguna, and it's all going to be defined. What all these gunas. So Tamoguna to elevate to Rajas, from non-action or inaction, from sloth or lethargy to being active to sattva, that is knowledge. That also transcended and knowing the swarupa of oneself to be that which is gunatita. Therefore the gunas which is of the prakriti, the knowledge of them has to be gained. So therefore that is the subject matter of the kshetra, that is the subject matter of this topic also. In the previous chapter, we saw Prakritistaha Purushaha. Where is this Purushaha? Purushaha is, it is Prakritist, it is obtained in the Prakriti. This Purushaha, Purusha Prakritisto hi Bhungte Prakritijan Gunan. Karanam Gunasangasya Sadasadyoni Janmasu. Purusha, which is obtained in the Prakriti. As it were, it enjoys the attributes of Prakriti, the gunas. And that is the cause for Sadyoni Janma, Asadyoni Janma, lower and higher Janma. So that is the cause for Samsara iti. Therefore, the gunas have to be known, the knowledge of gunas are important so that once we sort out these gunas, therefore, one can aspire to become a gunatita, which is called moksha. Gunatita is nothing but Swarupa, that is moksha eva. From being a saguna to gunatita. Therefore, from tamas to rajas, rajas to sattva, and from sattva to gunatita, that is moksha. So moksha is directly to be, how can we get directly unless we have the knowledge of them and how to handle them, how to discriminate oneself from these three gunas, how these three gunas bind, the nature of bondage. Unless we know that we are bound, the nature of bondage, the means of bondage cannot be known. Therefore, knowledge of all these things are required. Then only gunas can be transcended. It means moksha can be gained. And that is the subject matter of this topic. Therefore, knowledge of the gunas are important. That is the vishaya of this Chaturdasha Adhyayaha, Chaturdashodhyayaha. That is why this chapter is called Gunatraya Vibhaga Yoga. Purvadhyayaha Kshetra Kshetrajna Vibhaga Yoga, Vibhaga Jnanam. Here Gunatraya Vibhaga Jnanam. The knowledge of the gunas are also important. It is concerned with Kshetra. And since Purusha is obtained in this Prakriti, Purusha which is Asangaha, obtained in the Prakriti, even though it is obtained in the Prakriti, Purusha is ever unconnected to the Prakriti. Cannot have connection. But connection is there as it were. It is apparent connection, not real connection. It is Mithya connection, Mithya Sambandha. That is why Purusha seems to be enjoying the three gunas due to avidya and therefore suffers in samsara. Seems to be all this. The apparent connection, therefore it suffers. Apparent connection due to avidya, therefore avidya is a cause. Therefore, since avidya is a cause, then avidya to be removed, for that only knowledge. So, first the area of ignorance has to be known. What binds? That is why in the beginning of the chapter, Shankaracharya asks all these questions. Kasmin gune katam sangaha keva gunaha katam vate badranti gunebhyaha mokshanam katam syat muktasya lakshanam kim iti. What are the gunas? How they do bind? That knowledge also required. How one can be released from that, and what are the qualities of a mukta purusha? Muktasya lakshanam vaktavyam iti. The 14th chapter begins. The 14th chapter, therefore, Kshetra is, the topic is extended to this chapter, Chaturdashaha Adhyayaha. And in the first two shlokas, we will be seeing, Bhagavan introduces the topic. The name of the chapter is Gunatraya Vibhagaha, the knowledge of the three gunas, Sattva, Rajas, Tamas. We use this word so frequently, Sattva, Rajas. We understand what it is. All the three gunas are there, and we pass through the gunas and enjoy these gunas in a day. Not that all the time we will be Sattva. Sattva stands for tranquility, it is knowledge. It stands for purity, Sattva. And Rajas is active. All the time we cannot be active, or all the time we cannot be in Sattva state. As a jiva, as a manushya, then we sleep, then we take rest. So that is tamas, non-action, inactive, sleep, slothfulness. So all the three gunas are equally important. Because they are there, therefore the jiva also sustains. Otherwise, if only tamas is there, or only rajas or sattva, then jiva cannot sustain in this world. So all the three are equally important. But for moksha, all three gunas have to be transcended. Cognitively, it has to be not Jnani Jiva will throw away all the gunas. It cannot be, because he has to live in the same shariram even after Jnanam also. But he knows is not subject to this guna. Gunaha guneshu pravartante iti matra jnani na sajjate. Already we saw in the third chapter. Jnani is not na sajjate, is not bound. Gunaha guneshu vartante. Prakriti gunaha guneshu vartante. Gunas, they interact with the gunas. Guna guneshu vartante iti matva na sajjate jnani. He knows this is how the gunas behave, gunas act. Therefore, tattvavitu mahabaho, guna karma vibhaga yoho. The third chapter, Bhagavan already has said guna karma vibhagaha. The one who knows the truth of the guna and the actions, he will not be bound. Gunaha guneshu vartante. The gunaha, the three gunaha, they express us through guneshu, expresses themselves in the guna, in this sharira manasangata, body, mind, sense complex, iti matra, na sajjate, jnani is not bound. So therefore, this kshetra is made of these three gunas. Prakrutehe guna sammudaha sajjante guna karmasu. Only those who are deluded, they are bound by this prakriti, bound in this sharira manasangata and its actions. So those who know the truth, Krishnavita, Those who know Krishnavit, Tattvavit, Saha na sajjate, na vichalayet. In the third chapter itself, Bhagavan has said. So therefore, the knowledge of the Guna, that is the topic. And Bhagavan introduces, let us read the Shloka, first Shloka now. Shri Bhagavanuvacha
श्रीभगवानुवाच
श्रीभगवानुवाच
Param bhuyah pravakshami jnananam jnanamuttamam
परं
परं
भूयः
भूयः
प्रवक्ष्यामि
प्रवक्ष्यामि
ज्ञानानां
ज्ञानानां ज्ञानमुत्तमम्
ज्ञानमुत्तमम्
यज्ञात्वा मुनयः सर्वे param siddhimito gataha
यज्ञात्वा
मुनयः
मुनयः
सर्वे
सर्वे
परां
परां
सिद्धिं
सिद्धिम्
हितो
इतो
गताः
गताः
itaha param siddhim itaha gataha. So गुणात्मिकायाः प्रकृतेः सकाशात् भूतानां मोक्ष उपायः कः ये गुणाः कथं ते पुरुषं बध्नन्ति मुक्तस्य किं लक्षणम्. That's I told in the introduction Bhashyakara इति व्याख्यातुं चतुर्दश अध्यायस्य आरम्भः क्रियते भगवता. And Bhagavan, because he is starting a topic, therefore he praising the topic. That is the subject matter. What I am going to talk about is to create interest in subject matter. Bhagavan praises the topic. Therefore he says, Jnananam Jnanamuttamam iti yajñātva muneha sarve param siddhim gataha. And param bhuyaha aham pravakshami. That what is pravakshami? Param. What is param? Param prakrishtam. That param Brahma, prakrishtam Brahma, param, the most exalted, prakrishtam. The most param prakrishtam. And that jnananam uttamam jnanam pravakshami bhuyaha. Bhuyaha is punaha. It means Bhagavan has already taught. So therefore, that param prakrishtam paravastu aham vakshami, I am going to talk about punaha. Punaha again. It means Bhagavan has already taught in the previous chapters, already he has taught because of the love for Arjuna, the compassion for Arjuna, in case if Arjuna has not understood, grasped properly. Once again, I tell you, second time, like in Kena Upanishad, Upanishadam Be Brugi, but Acharya did not tell that. But Acharya understood and he taught the means for Jnana Yogita. But here, Bhagavan again he explains. Through different words, the topic he explains. To give more clarity. In Upanishad, we don't have space or time. But Gita, we have enough space and time. Therefore, Bhagavan explains it. Later, when Arjuna asked again the same teaching, then that time, no space and no time, Bhagavan just gave Anugita. That is, just gave the teaching in a very, very brief way. That is called Anugita. So now here, Bhuyaha, it says, because Bhuyaha means already taught. Where, which chapter? Preceding chapter, 13th chapter. But again, I am teaching out of Bhuyaha. When you say Bhuyaha, that understood that Bhuyaha Punaha, because of this love for you, that Daya. Therefore, Punaha Pravakshami. What is the topic? That is Jnanam. Jnanam is a topic. The previous chapter, Jnanam, that is the previous chapter, Jnanam, all these Amanitvam, Adambitam, these are all equated to Jnanam. In fact, Arjuna asked, what is Jnanam Nyayam? Jnatam Ichchami iti. That is already taught. 13th chapter. Now, Punaha, the Jnanam, and that is Jnananam Uttamam Jnanam. You can say Jnananam Uttamam Jnanam. Jnananam, what Shashti? Nirdharana Shashti. Sarvesham Jnananam Uttamam. Uttamam Jnanam it is. Uttama palakatvad uttamam iti. Uttamam nirdharana shashti. Shashti is nirdharana shashti. Nirdharana shashti cannot be compounded. Na nirdharane. Why it is called Uttamam Jnanam? Because it is a knowledge which gives moksha, liberation, mukti. Mukti, pradam jnanam. The knowledge gives moksha. Therefore, param iti. Param because the jnanam, the knowledge deals with the paravastu, Brahma, which is total, which is limitless. Therefore, paravidya, therefore it is complete. Sarva vidya pratishtam. All the vidya enjoys existence because of which that vidya, gaining which everything is gained. It is complete. It is total. So param can connect with the word paravidya of the Mundakopanishad, paravidya. So the apravidya, paravidya. So param vidya, param jnanam. Aham pravakshyami. So that paravidya, that is uttamam among all the vidyas. That is sarva vidya pratishta iti. Because that vidya gives the highest result, the result is moksha. Other vidyas, they are aparavidya. Vyakaranam aparavidya gives the knowledge of the language. Shiksha gives the knowledge of how to say, how to pronounce the letter words. Any field of knowledge, science, etc., gives a knowledge, studying which a person gains the knowledge with respect to that particular field alone, and that also it is not Purnam. As Swamiji used to say, one question, our ignorance will come out. So therefore, no knowledge is total except this knowledge. And this knowledge, the result of this knowledge is moksha. Therefore, it is param. So jnananam is apara jnananam, apara vidyanam. It is uttamam jnanam iti. Jnanam we classify into parajnanam, aparajnanam. Paravidya, aparavidya. So vidya, therefore vidyanam uttama vidya is this paravidya, brahma vidya. Brahma vidya palam mukti. Therefore, it is param iti, paravidya, param jnanam, punaha. Again, I teach you. And Bhagavan also says, why I say uttam, it is sarvesham jnananam uttamam iti. Because knowing which, what happens, knowing which, the person gains moksha. I'm not just saying like that. Munis, many rishis, munayaha, sannyasinaha, they have gained. Bhagavan says that aham bhuyaha punaha te tubhyam aham bakshyami. Sarkarshena katagishyami. The knowledge I will teach you, I will give you that jnanam, yat jnatva upalabhya sarve munayaha. Munayaha acharya, in the Bhashyam acharya takes sannyasinaha iti. Wherever the jnanam mukti comes, he will take that be sannyasi. Sarve munayaha, all the great munayaha, Vasishta, etc., they attain moksha. Sarve munayaha, mananashilaha, mananat munihi. But munihi is sannyasi for acharya. Acharya takes munihi to be sannyasinaha iti. So, because sannyasi, they devote completely themselves to the dhyasanam, therefore they know the vastu and gain moksha. Therefore, mananat, that is mananat munihi. Munihi is one from the mandatu, one who thinks, one who does analysis. First Shravanam and then Mananam. Therefore, Mananat Munihi. So Shravana, Manana, Nididhyasanam. So Mananat Munihi. Therefore, Mananashilaha. Vedanta Mananashilaha. Munihi. Munayaha. Sarve Munayaha. All the Munayaha. Param Siddhi. Param Siddhi is Para Siddhi, which is already Siddha. Siddha was, it is Siddhaha eva. Therefore, Param Siddhim, The siddhi, the accomplishment, the success, param siddhim, that is siddhi, brahma, prapti, ityukte muktihi. Param siddhim is mukti, prapti. So mukti prapti kutra iha eva. It is not something after, or it is not going anywhere. It is param siddhim is mukti eva, and param, which say it is the mukti which is the mukti param siddhim param. The word adjective param also is there. Therefore, it is dukkha ragita. In mukti, in, in, in moksha, there is no dukkha. Therefore, freedom from samsara, param siddhim. Itaha. Itaha means from here, from this body. Itaha means from this. From this. Itaha is from this body, from this bandha of this, from the bandha, from this sharira bandha. The sharira is subject to maranam, jananam, amaranam. Therefore, itaha, from this. Itaha is tasil pratyaya. Sarva vibhaktika tasihi. Asmin manushya loke. That meaning also we can take in this manushya loka while living itself. From this bondage of this birth and death, janana marana samsarat, itaha gataha muktim gataha, siddhin gataha, muktim gataha, they attained, not they gone. Because here itself means it is here and now, gataha, not literally going, praptaha ityartaha. So, bandhanat urdhvam gataha. Asmat deha bandhanat urdhvam gataha. From this bondage with the shariram, they become free. That's why the jnanam is param jnanam. That jnanam punaha aham pravakshami, prakarshena aham katayishyami. I teach you again very clearly. Prakashetra stands for clearly. I shall teach you. Iti Bhagavan takes a pratigya to pra is, but I will tell clearly so that you will not have any samshaya. Don't have to doubt at all. You will not have any doubts. It's that way I will teach you. Katayishyami. Then in the next shloka, he says this knowledge is total, complete. Sarva vidya pratishta yasha vidya. That he tells. Shloka number 2. Idam jnanamupashritya mama sadharmyamagataha.
idam jnanamupashritya
ज्ञानमुपाश्रित्य मम
mamasadharmyamagataः
साध्यमागताः
Sarge pinopajayante pralayena vyathanti cha.
सर्गेऽपि
सर्गेऽपि
नोपजायन्ते
नोपजायन्ते
प्रलयेन
प्रलयेन व्यथन्ति च
च
Vyatanti, vyatadatu, I think it is atmanepadi. Vyatate, vyatete, vyatante. But parasmepadi, it is used maybe arsha prayogaha. So remember, it must be atmanepadi. Yam hina vyatayan yete. There also in the second chapter, 15th shloka, the word comes vyata. Yam hina vyatayan yete purusham purusharshabha samadukka sukam dhiram saumrtatvaya kalpate. So, Parasmi Pada Pratyaya is used. Arsha Prayogaha, iti we can take. Arsha Prayogaha. Vyasacharya has got privilege, he can use. So, Param Siddhim, it is told in the previous shloka, Param Siddhim, Muneha Sarve. Why Bhagavan says Muneha Sarve? That is to create the interest in the mind of the student, the Arjuna here. Not only Arjuna, but people like us, Arjuna like students. Such people, they have attained that. Stotra buddhi prarochanaya muneha sabe param siddhim gataha iti bhagavata uktam. That what is that param siddhim? That is explained in this shloka. Param siddhi is, it is nothing but mama sadharmyam agataha. Mama sadharmyam. Mama sadharmyam is mat swarupatam. Mama is not Vasudevasya Apatyam Brahman Vasudevaha Krishnaha. Krishnasya. It is Parameshwarasya. Krishna here is, Mama is not that Krishna who is with the Sharinamana Sangata, that Jiva Krishna, it is Parameshwara. Bhagavan, the Krishna starts from standpoint of Ishvara. Mama is Parameshwarasya. Mama Parameshwarasya Sadharmyam. Sadharmyam is Swarupata. Mat Swarupata Magataha. Mat Swarupa. The nature, same nature as that of me. What is the nature of Ishvara? That is that nature. Same nature as Ishvara. That is Sadharmyam. Nature of Ishvara, Sachit Ananda Swarupaha Ishvaraha, Sachit Anandaha Anandam Brahma. That Brahma, that Swarupa, that is Sadharmyam, Swarupatvam. So, therefore, Mama, the result of this knowledge, Idam Jnanam, Lakshyamana Idam Jnanam, this Vastu Vishayan Jnanam, which I'm going to talk about, Upashitya, Sampadya, Prapya Ityartha, Samprapya, having gained this, Idam Jnanam Upashitya, by taking recourse to this knowledge. By taking recourse to this knowledge, Mama Sadharmyam, Samana Dharmatam, Mama Sadharmyam, Ishvara Sadharmyam, Parameshwara Sadharmyam, that Swarupa, Sadharmyam in the sense of Swarupa, Sadharmyam. Dharma is the word Sadharmyam, it is a Tadita word. The word Dharma. Dharma is nature. Sa, when we say Samanam, same nature. Samanaha Dharmaha Sadharmyam. Sadharmya. So here Sadharmyam is that Jiva attains the same nature as that of me. Means not Jiva like a butterfly will, from being that a caterpillar becomes a butterfly, not like that. Undergo some transformation, some metamorphosis. No, it is not. It is Sadharmyam is in terms of Aikyam, Aikya Jnanam, the oneness. Jnanena it is. Jiva Ishvara Aikyam. Aikyam, that Aikyam is that Aikyam Jnanam, the oneness of Jiva and Ishvara. Jiva and Ishvara are one, not with the Upadhi, not from the Upadhi standpoint. From the standpoint of Swarupa, it is oneness. Therefore, it is knowledge based. The oneness is knowledge based. So that is the vision of the Gita. Therefore, Sadharmyam. Sadharmyam is not just Samana Dharma, not just same attributes, same virtues, not Sadharmyam. Samana Dharmatvam, the Dharmatvam, that Swarupam, the nature is Sachit Anandam Brahma, that Brahma. That is a Sadharmyam. That Lakshana, that definition of Brahma becomes a definition of the very person. It means it is oneness, Ekarupatam, Abhinnatam, Advayatvam, Abhinnatvam, Agataha, Praptaha, iti. That is Madrupam. Mama Sadharmya is Madrupam. In other places, Bhagavan says Madrupam, my form, my nature. Same thing. Sampannaha, Agataha, they gain. Therefore, it is the oneness. Aikyam. Okay, fine. They gain the oneness with Ishvara. So what? What is, because oneness is the end. That is gained by knowledge. There must be some benefit, some result. Prayojanam anudeshya na mandopi pravartate loke. Without expecting any prayojanam, any utility, any matlab. If nobody engages any action. So what is that prayojanam? What is the benefit? One becomes free from this janma, marana, samsara chakra. When Srishti is created, Kalpado, Jivaha, Jayate, Kalpante, it goes back to unmanifest stage, Mriyate. Not that till Kalpa it will be there. Within the Kalpa, there are The jiva undertakes so many janmas, different forms, different beings. So jayate, mriyate, jayate, mriyate, jayate, mriyate. At the time of sarge, srishtikale, it is born because was an unmanifested, it comes to manifestation. Then continues continues to take birth and die. And at the end of the kalpa goes into unmanifested. Again, the same thing repeats again and again, repetition. This is a samsara. Therefore, Bhagavan says, Sarge api na upajayante. Even Sarge api, the next, in this creation it is there. Next creation, you will not be there. You will not be born. Because being born is not maybe a happy thing, but if you are continue to exist, it is fine, but it is not. Janma is there, Maranam also it is there. And between that Jara, Vyadi, etc., therefore it is not pleasant. Therefore, the next creation, Sarge, Srishti Arambe, na upajayante, na utpadyante. So they are not born. Jivaha, na utpadyante, they are not born. Kalpado. Okay, in between the kalpa, that is also not possible. We become free once for all. Mamas sadharmi magataha, it is said. Therefore, how can be born in the middle? The madhya apina upajayante. When there is no birth, then pralaya samaye na vyatanti. Pralaya kale, during pralaya, they do not die. Therefore, there is no grief also. There is no dukkha, na vyatanti. There is no pain. There is no pida. The pralaya pida, na pralaya pidam upayanti. They do not suffer. Madrupam agatahate atahate punaha na upachayante na praliyante. Therefore, janma marana samsaram atikramya vartante jivaha. They transgress this janma marana samsara chakra, this cycle. So, therefore, jnanam upashitya, jnana sadhanam anushtaya. In the Bhashyakara says, jnanam is a means for moksha. And for jnanam, the jnana yogyata is required. That is what is talked about in the previous chapter, jnanamiti, the topic, amanitvam adambitvam. Therefore, jnana sadhanam anushtaya, following the means for this knowledge. Following the means for gaining the jnana yogyata and following the means for the knowledge of this tattvam, the Brahma Vidya, that is Shravanam, Maranam, Nididhyasanam, etc. Mama sadharmim agataha, that is what jnanam is. So jnanam, idam jnanam upashitya. So jnana sadhanam anushtaya, that is Shravanam, that is sadhanam. And for Shravanam also jnana yogyata is required, that is talked about. That is also called jnanam. Upashitya. Naikya jnanena mama sadharmyam agataha. Ye mama sadharmyam agataha tesham punarjanma na bhavati ataha na mriyate na jagate na mriyate na jagate mriyate va kadachit nayam bhutta bhavitava na bhuyaha. That definition of Atma which was given, that is the definition of this jnani jiva also. Therefore, he becomes muktaha. So, iti Bhagavan praises the knowledge in the introduction. That is how he begins. Therefore, now Arjuna will be with all ears to listen to this. But the gunas is the topic. Therefore, how Prakriti gunas bind a person, that should be known. The cause for all the creation, that should be known. That Bhagavan he points out in the following shloka. Next shloka, shloka number 3. Because the topic of the chapter is Guna Traya Vibhaga. Aspiring for mukti. That is fine. But the knowledge, the nature of the knowledge of the nature of bondage, what binds, that has to be known. then only the sadhanam, appropriate sadhanam, shravanam can be taken up. So therefore, the knowledge of Prakriti gunas, how gunas bind a person. So that is the topic. Shloka number 3. Mama yonirmagad brahma tasmin garbham dadham yaham.
मम
मम
योनिर्महद् ब्रह्म
योनिर्महद्ब्रह्मम्
तस्मिन् गर्भं
तस्मिन् गर्भं
दधाम्यहम्
दधाम्यहम्
Sambhava sarvabhutanam tato bhavati bharata.
सम्भवः
सम्भवः
सर्वभूतानां
सर्वभूतानां
ततो
ततो
भवति
भवति
भारत
भारत.
So Bhagavan here presents the cause for the creations, all the creation. So creation has to come, and then in the creation there are the Prakriti Gunaha, the Prakriti Gunaha out in the bind a person that Bhagavan will talk. So that is, so for that now, first he presents the cause for all the creation, the Srishti. So in this shloka as well as the following shloka, the topic is Srishti. Before getting into the main topic, that is Guna, Prakriti Guna, so the Srishti, because Srishti comes, the Srishti from the Srishti, that is, first is Panchabhuta, then Panchabhautikaha, they undergo this Panchikaranam. So from Bhuta comes, and Bhuta, once Bhuta comes, the Bhuta enjoys 3 gunas, because the gunas are there in the Prakriti, in the Maya. Therefore, the Bhutas which are born will have 3 gunas, Sattva, Rajas, Tamas. So Sattva, Akasha, Rajaha, Akashaha, Tamo Akasha, that 3, they combine and form this Bhautika, Stula Bhautika, Prapancha, Stula, Sukshma, Iti, and in the individual it forms the Antakaranam and the Indriyani, etc. In Tattvavada we have seen. The mind is formed from the Sattva aspect of all the 5 elements. That way mind is also called Sattvam, Sattva Shuddhaye, Antakarana Shuddhaye. The word Sattva used for Antakaranam. So, therefore, Stula Prapancha Srishti, Stula Sharira, Sukshma Sharira, Sukshma Prapancha Srishti, Sukshma Sharira Srishti, Stula Prapancha Srishti, Stula Sharira Srishti, all those things. So, therefore, first Bhutas, and then along with the Bhutas, the Gunas. They enjoy the Gunas, therefore Gunas. Therefore, first Srishti has to be talked about. Therefore, that is the topic here. Now, here Bhagavan says, Mama yonihi magad brahma tasmin aham garbham dadhami. Aham garbham dadhami e bharata. Mama is, again here Ishvarasya. Mama Ishvarasya. Mama is Ishvarasya. And Magad Brahma. Magad Brahma is Magat. Mama Magad Brahma. Mama Magad Brahma. We have to take Mama Yonihi Magad Brahma. This Magad Brahma is referring to Prakriti. Magad Brahma is Mama Yonihi. So, Mama Yonihi, my cause. Mama Yonihi. Mama Yonihi means it's not my cause. No, but Magad Brahma is the cause. Magad Brahma is Prakriti. The Magad Brahma, Magat is that which is Magat Mahan, greater, and Brahma is that, therefore not referring to Sachidananda Brahma. Magad Brahma is Prakriti. Prakriti Tyartaha. The Magad Brahma is Prakriti. Yonihi is Sarvabhutanam Karanam, that is Yonihi. So Magad Brahma Prakriti is the material cause. Magad Brahma Yonihi Bhavati. You need to take Magad Brahma Yonihi Bhavati, and that is not separate from me. It is Mama. Magad Yoni, Magad Brahma, that Prakriti is the Yoni, is the cause. What is the cause? The cause is the Prakriti. Prakriti is the cause. And that Prakriti is mama, not separate from me. The Prakriti is not separate from me, mama. In the Rudram, in the Chamakam, we say, Shancha me, Mayascha me, Priyancha me, Kamascha me, all may comes. That the Chamakam, that may, can be taken as a prayer, prarthana, where may can be interpreted as Chaturthi Vibhakti for me. So Maghyam ityarthe. May means Maghyam for me. Oh Lord, give me that, give me Sanchame, Magashchame, Priyanchame, a long list. The list is not, it is not ending, it's a long list. In the form of 9 anuvakas, the person asks in the form of a prayer, give me this, give me that, non-stop. So that there may come. That's why it is called chame come. That's why it's called chamakam. That may. So there may the word we take as chaturthi bhakti magyam ityartha. But Swamiji says that may can be taken as shashti also because mama may also is there. May can be either chaturthi bhakti for me or may can be my. So my when we say everything, my means everything is me. That is whatever is mentioned that in the give me that, give me this. So the long list is mentioned. Shanchame, Mayashame, Priyamchame, Kamaschame, Kama, all these are myself. It means they are not different from me. It means Sarvatma Bhava. Everything is myself. So in that sense, it presents a vision of Vedanta, Advaita Tattva. So it can be looked at in that way. That is why it is relevant for Vedantins to chant that either as a prayer one can chant, that is nothing wrong, or Sarvatma Bhava. So it can be recited, it is chanted, Chamakam, me iti. That me is mama. Similarly, here also, Magad Brahma, this Prakriti is a yoni. Magad Brahma, this Prakriti is a cause for this creation. How this creation comes? It comes from the Maya. But Maya is Mama Maya. It is my Maya. Mama Maya is Mama Maya. Bhagavan wants of the Maya. It says that Maya is not different from me. It doesn't exist apart from me. So you need to understand the arrange the words and understand. Magad Brahma is Prakriti and Magad Brahma is Jivanam Yonihi Bhavati, and that Prakriti is myself. Maya is myself. Mama iti. It means the Maya is not different from me. So therefore, Mama iti. Otherwise, Mama Yonihi Magad Brahma is my cause is this Magad Brahma. That meaning cannot be. Keeping in mind the vision of the Vedanta Tattvam, Advaita Tattvam, the words have to be interpreted. So, Magad Brahma is this Magad Tattvam, that Prakriti, and that is Magad Brahma, which is a Yonihi. It is the Karanam, Yonihi. So, therefore, that is Mama, it is myself. Okay, then Tasmin Aham Garbam Dadami. Garbam Dadami, Garbam, I plant life in that Prakriti. The Prakriti cannot create this Jagat by itself, Jadatvat, without me, the Ishvara, Prakriti cannot create. Therefore, I give life, that is, I implant life in that Prakriti. The mind is there, which is just a mind, the Antakaranam. In the Antakaranam, when Chit is reflected, then becomes Chidabhas. Antakaranam now becomes as though it becomes Chetana. It's called Chidabhasa. That is what implanting life is. Similarly, in the Jiva also, Jada is there, in the Jada Jiva, Prakriti. It becomes Chetana, active because of which? That is because of me. When the Antakaranam is there, when Antakaranam is has the ability to express itself in a particular Sharira, then it expresses in the form of knowledge. And there are Achetana, there are also, of course, Atma is there, but it doesn't have the Shariram to express through that body. So therefore, but in Jiva we see Jiva acts. Then the mind of the Jiva it acts, but Jiva as such, the mind as such is Jada. That Jada, Antakaranam, Jada becomes Chidabhasa. Chidabhasa, we say reflected consciousness. The consciousness reflected in the Antakaranam, that reflected Chaitanyam is Chidabhasa. That is what Garbhan Dadami iti. I give existence, Satta and Spurti. Satta and Spurti to this Prakriti, which is Jada, and this Jada Prakriti enjoys Satta and Spurti, Chetanatvam. That is what implanting life, Garbham Dadami, Agam Garbham Dadami. Then Tataha Sarvabhutanam Sambhavaha Bhavati. From that, all the Bhutas, Sukshma and Stula Bhutas and Sukshma and Stula Sharirams, all are born. Tataha Bhavati E Bharata. From that only everything comes to. So therefore, Jiva as Atma is not created, but Shariram is created. So Jiva as Atma is not created. Jiva is Atma only. That's because of Ajnanam, the has got Abhimana with the Shariram, therefore we say Jivaha iti. But Jivaha is Atma eva, Swarupa Drishtya. Therefore Jiva is not Srishta. What is Srishta is the Shariram which the Jiva enjoys, the Upadi, that is Srishta. And that is Maya itself, Prakriti itself cannot do. So therefore I give that life to Tasmin Garbham Aham Dadhami. From that Prakriti, everything comes to existence. Sarvabhutanam Sambhavaha. Sambhavaha is birth. Everything comes to all the bhutas. We can take bhuta to be praniya, we can take bhuta to be panchabhuta. Tasmat akasha sambhuta, akashadvayu, vayoragni agneha paha, advyah prithvi, prithvyam oshadayaha. Everything has come to existence. First is sukshma and then Stula Bhuta and then Sukshma Bhuta, then undergo Panchikaram, all this Bhautika, Shariram, Tataha, Bhavati Bharata. From that, everything is born. Bharata. Iti. Next shloka, that also talks about the creation that I will see. We'll see it in the next class. Yam Brahma Varunendra Rudra Marutaha Stunvanti Divyai Stavaihi Vedai Sangapada Kramopanishadaihi Vayanti Yam Samagha ध्यानावस्थिततद्गतेन मनसा पश्यन्ति यं योगिनः यस्यान्तं न विदुःसुरासुरगणाः देवाय तस्मै नमः ॐ पूर्णमदः पूर्णमिदं पूर्णात् पूर्णमुदच्यते पूर्णस्य पूर्णमादाय पूर्णमेवावशिष्यते Om Shanti 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 Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha Harihi Om Dhanyavadaha.
Hari Om Guruji, Dhanyavadaha.
Dhanyavada, Sharanji. And a small doubt. The difference between Asha Prayoga and Chandasam rendu onnudanaji.
Chandasa we say with regard to the Vedas. Asha Prayoga with regard to Rishis.
Rishis, okay.
If it is in the Upanishad, we say it is Chandasam. The Gita and all written by Acharya, Vyasacharya is a Rishi. Rishi or Sreshta Purushas we can take them the seemingly, the deviation from the Vyakarana rules can be taken. It should not be looked upon as mistake or error. It is not that imperfection. We have to take it as Arsha Prayoga. It is the Prayoga of the Rishis.
Okay.
Prayoga, Arsha Prayoga, the usage of them. They have got privilege to use. We cannot question them because they are all exalted people. So even Vivekananda also in some, he also used like that. So we take it as Harsha Prayoga.
Okay. Okay, ji.
Vyasa,
धन्यवाद.
Vasishta, etc. etc.
हाँ,
Okay. Dhanyawad.
धन्यवाद जी. Yeah.